Hello and welcome back to the Toy Box. Today we're going to have a lot of fun with the Collect-a-car Raceway by Eldon. This is not a traditional slot car set. This is very similar in concept and execution to Matchbox's Motorway, which basically propelled matchboxes or Hot Wheels or any small car around a track that had a spring underneath the groove of the track and dragged the car along, and made it kind of a realistic sort of impression when you looked at it. It's very interesting, very well done. This Eldon version does the same thing, but it uses kind of a plastic bead string to pull the car along. And again, this is underneath the slot in the track, and it's controlled by motors. Again, very much like the Matchbox Motorway toy. I just got this. I get one that's in very nice condition. We don't know the operational status of it, so what we're going to do is on this video show you the various components, and then we're going to put it together and see if it works. The set came with two cars, and I'm very pleased to have them both, and they are both in very good condition. One of the cars is a Camaro, one of the cars is a Mustang. They're similar sort of to a Matchbox car, but they're light, they're rather inexpensively made. They're fair on detail. They're nice little cars, but I would not compare them to a Hot Wheel in terms of quality. They're both made in Spain by a company that made a bunch of different cars and toys, Neckerol, and that is from Spain. And I did a little research on them. They made all sorts of die-cast cars and trucks and various toys. And Eldon had some sort of business relationship with them. As a matter of fact, they sold the Billy Blastoff toy under their brand in Spain. And I've got both the original boxes that they came in. They're kind of a strange fibrous cardboard box too, which is kind of interesting, very plain. And I'm very pleased that all these parts are with the set in such good shape. The set includes all appropriate documentation and instruction sheet, a little flyer here of accessories and such for not only the standard Eldon set, but the 1/24th scale 12-volt set, and as well as a couple of Collect-a-car accessories like curved track, straight track, and adapter pins. What are the adapter pins? Well, each one of these cars does not have any pin on it or anything like that because they're not really slot cars, they're just die-cast cars. So again, like the Matchbox Motorway set, it comes with like steel tape, and you just tape this little peg on the bottom of whatever car you want. These or Hot Wheels. As a matter of fact, this set also came with a couple of Aurora Speedline cars. And that peg fit in the groove of the slot and was dragged through the raceway course by basically inserting into the plastic beaded chain. The toy was brought out in 1969, and the box is in pretty good shape. The colors are rich. There's a little bit of staining on it, but overall, for kind of a thin cardboard box, it's in good shape. It's survived the years. And they have a picture of the hand controllers controlling each lane, each car. And basically, we'll see this in the flash, but just to give you an idea in the picture, underneath each of these little towers is a motor and a gear that is going to grab the beaded chain underneath the track. These cars sit on the track with the pin that I mentioned, goes through the track, grabs the beaded chain, and is pulled around the course. The fact that you're supposed to kind of be racing, it's like, well, maybe there's a skill in keeping the cars on the track by letting up the speed on the curves. I don't know, because it's not really slot cars. It's kind of drag a car along sort of technology. But I really like it, and I've seen these for a long time and kind of kept my eye on them. And then just the other day I was saying, yeah, what about that old Collect-a-car set? And I looked one up on eBay, and there's just a really nice example there, and I bought it. And that is this item you see right here. Here's the beaded chain I talked about, and as you can see, it's not real beads. They're like these little plastic discs, and and it's a plastic chain basically, and this is pulled through the channel underneath the slots in the track and driven by a motor for each lane. This is, and I've already plugged in and tested this section right here. This is where the motors are, and then the center of this track piece comes out, and that's where you lay the plastic chain in. And as you can see right down here, the gear teeth pull it along. We're going to clean this up, and I tested it to see if it worked, and both the motors spun up. One is a little noisy, so I might put a little oil on it, but I'm going to take this apart and see what it looks like and continue on with this. The rest of the track is wrapped up. We've got curved sections, we've got straight sections, and then for some reason we have 3 controllers. I don't know why, I don't know where the extra one came from. We have 3. And then thrown into this deal were a couple of Aurora Speedline cars. And I never seen these before. I had to do research on them. Evidently Aurora made a competitor to Hot Wheels, and they don't really have the same kind of zingy sort of wheels that Hot Wheels had. They're just whatever, and they just feel kind of cheap. The paint also is very beautiful on these. They came in like, they're all kind of shiny goldish or shiny pinkish reddish, very similar finishes. The problem is that the finish very easily rubbed off on these cars through the years. I've seen a lot of them that are beat up. There's a guy on YouTube, and he's got quite a collection of these in very pristine condition. One's a Ferrari, I think, here, and one's a Ford GT. So the interesting thing is this has remnants of the steel tape I told you about. So these cars had probably been used on the track. I don't know if the originals had ever been used because they don't have any remnants and they look way clean. So we might just pull these around the track, these speed lines. We'll have to see. They're neat though, I have to admit it. And it's Aurora, which makes it kind of interesting. The first thing we're going to do is turn our attention to the motor boxes and the starter track here. We've gone ahead and rigged up one of the hand controllers and plugged in the power pack, and let's give this a jolt. Alright, you can see that is causing the gear to spin, and the more I push down the thumb, the faster it goes. I'm hearing a little squeal there. Let's this is the common for the transformer, and this is for the individual lanes. So let's plug this in here. There we go. There we go. So again, this gear is going to mesh with this plastic bead line, whatever you want to call it, and pull it through. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to service this unit first, then we're going to assemble the track, and then we'll put the lines in there in each lane and see if we can get them settled in there and all in the slot how they should be and pulling through the correct way. So that, and you can look at it from the bottom, it is in this position and it can be lifted out, and then you lift this out from the center and pop it off. Now what we're going to do is remove the tops of these towers so we get to the motors, and I think I can do that by manipulating these tabs right here very carefully. With the tabs popped off underneath, this just lifts right off, and you can see we have a motor here, our windings, and our gear. After just a touch of oil on the gears, a very, very touch, and a touch of oil on the motors, Sounds a lot better. Very cool. We're going to close it this side. We're going to do the other side. Let's compare. This is lubricated and fixed. Let's move it over to the other side. Let's get in there and fix that one. Unfortunately, many of the tabs have been broken, and there has been tape put on in certain strategic areas, obviously because they broke a long time ago, but we'll make do. A rather pleasant surprise here. The downside is I only got one lane working because I think I only have enough tubing for one lane. Had to play around with it to get it to go, but it's going in the one lane. And the steel tape that I had that came with the set still worked. I put a peg. I only have one peg, so I'm going to find a source for another peg. Put it on one of the Speedline cars, and here we go. Pretty cool. And I actually wiped out over here. I wasn't watching what I was doing, and I wiped out. One of the things I had to do is I had to put a little bit of lubricant, a few drops every couple of inches. I just put it in a slot. I know it's not as good as grease, but I was worried about the type of grease to use, and I figured oil's not going to hurt anything, light plastic oil. So once I did that, the thing really opened up. My guess is that the track had lubricant in the grooves of some type from the factory. It's all dried up over time. This is really, I kind of like this. It's really kind of cool. If you saw it from a distance, you'd think it was an HO race car, but it's not. It's an Aurora Speedline. Wow, full throttle, and I cracked up into the pit stop. Kind of cool. Yep, actually spun out there. So there is a little bit of skill in this and keeping your car from going crazy. But, oh, I actually think I pulled the tape out a little bit there. I might have to go get, I think this is just metal tape that you can get like at a Home Depot. You know, they use for tool sheds to waterproof the roof edges. At least that's where I know it from. I love original paperwork and decals and all that, and here are the looks like one set of decals was used, and I think that was for, I don't even know where it was for because I don't see anything used on here. There's the Eldon Raceway stickers, and then these people looking out were supposed to go, I think, somewhere on the raised section right here of the pit stop and the rally center right there. You know, these people. These people, they disturb me. So we're not putting them on. We're just going to keep the decal sheet.